Meet Luc Tuymans. He's a famous Belgian painter. Several months ago, he had an exhibition in New York.
He is the most important Belgian painter and probably one of the most important painters that is working today in the world.
Tuymans is certainly regarded as one of the most important artists, painters particularly of his generation, in part because his pictures tell the truth. They deal with difficult subject matter sometimes, but they are very restrained. He's not obvious or simplistic or reductive in his message. There's always something subterranean below the surface that lurks, that has tremendous moral gravitas in many cases.
I realized that one of the great qualities of his work, other than the aesthetic, the obvious aesthetic qualities, is that it's relevant. And it's the relevance, here and now, that really resonated with me over the years.
I think he is one of the few artists who is pushing the outer envelope of the best visual art expression, both in aesthetic terms and in terms of subject. And there's very, very few artists who can do that.
Even if you are somebody who doesn't know the vocabulary of contemporary art, you can tell there's something atmospheric about the painting, even if you don't really understand the way it was made or even the history behind the content of that particular painting. They have such a mood.
I feel a relationship to him in the manner in which he paints, which is this rather casual approach. There's no high definition, it's just fuzzy and vague.
We sold a particular work by Luc Tuymans, actually from the Congo series, called Sculpture. It made a world record, and it made it just about around $1.5 million US at that time.
For a lot of people, the value of art is connected to the financial value of it, and things which can make a disconnection between those two ideas, I think, are always good.
People enjoy Tuymans' work in art galleries and museums all around the world. People who love art, that is. People who are already interested, who know they're looking at art. But what would happen if we took away that context?
If you took one of these paintings out on the street, I would say hopefully 90% of the people will stop and look at the work.
Many people would be perplexed, and they would wonder if the Tuymans on the street were an advertisement for something, or was there some message that they were supposed to be understanding from the work. I mean, art is usually defined by the intention for it to be a work of art and the context in which you see it. So context is pretty important, particularly for paintings in that way. I do think many people would be forced to think about it. They would perhaps be a little bit confused and wonder why that work had come into their space or into their lives in that way on the street.
The work is so much about the world that I think it will make a lot of sense out in the world. I think it will stop people, make them think, and wake them up.
Imagine that art suddenly appeared in the real world, on the street. Would anyone even notice? Tuymans agreed to help us find out. Our location was this street in Antwerp, Tuymans' hometown. It's a pedestrian street that a lot of people use. We put up a scaffolding so that Tuymans could work in private. Only a few people on the team knew who the scaffolding was for. Tuymans based his painting on Exhibit Number 1, a piece from his 2002 Nix exhibitions. This particular painting referenced a diorama from a Japanese fertility museum that showed scenes from monkeys copulating as humans. He chose the painting because the bodies would stand out well against the grey concrete of the wall. The piece is finished. The hidden cameras are installed. the scaffolding is gone. The experiment is underway. After 48 hours, 2,965 people had passed by. 2,858 of them didn't give the painting any attention. 107 people, however, did stop. A total of just under 4% of the whole. Hopefully, these numbers will wake people up. Can experiments like this one help people to take more interest in art?
Ik denk niet dat de kunst de wereld kan veranderen. Ik denk niet dat de functie is van kunst. Ik denk dat kunst, het maken van beelden, eerder het doorgeven van ideeën is. En dat als dat mensen aan het denken zet, op zijn minst, al is het maar voor een paar seconden, dan is het al veel.